Okay, guys, so this tutorial is about the advanced features of MIDI and how to use it. I'm going to cover some of the things we did last week as well, since some of you all wanted the tutorial for how we did some of the stuff that we did last week. So I'm going to log in first through education. And I'm going to open up any one of. Okay, I'm just going to open up a personal project here. You guys could use the one that you've already been assigned. Okay. And then on the other hand, I'm just going to open up the basic songs. So this is the PDF. So last week we did the song Twinkle Twinkle. Okay. We're going to do that today. And then I'm going to do the stuff that we did this week in class. So first of all, we're going to add a new instrument, a MIDI instrument. I'm going to name it Melody. Hope you all know how to rename instruments. There is another shortcut. If you click on these three dots, the rename option is here. If not, you could just click over here and then type the whole thing out. Fine. So according to the sheet music, do do sol sol la la sol or C G A G. So let's just go back to this one. I'm gonna swap this to MIDI editor. Just resize this, bring it up so I can see better. C3. Okay, I'm going to start at C4. Okay, create a region. So in this area, it's going to right click, create region. Let's count how many bars are there in the song. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on page 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 bars. And then on page 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So a total of 12 bars. Fine. So our region is also going to have 12 bars. Remember, the top one is to loop if you're going to resize it, and the bottom one is to extend the region. So I'm going to go to the bottom icon, let my mouse cursor turn into this resize option, left click or click and hold, and go all the way up to 12. So when I say 12 bars, it means it has to end at 13, just before 13 starts. Okay. And if I scroll this to the side, then you will see the same thing happen. There you go. So 12, 12.2, 12.3, 12.4, and that's where the area ends at 13. Okay, fine. So let's start with the notes. So do, do, sol, sol, la, la, sol. Remember, I'm really quick at this because I've been doing this for a long time. So I always encourage you guys to, practice your skills every day. 5 to 10 minutes of working with MIDI, you will definitely get better. Before that, I'm just going to check my view settings, snap to grid, grid size. I want it at quarter because a lot of my notes are set at quarter. So when I'm resizing, and this is the reason why, let's say I draw a line, a note, and I want to resize, it resizes in quarter intervals, which makes it really easy to resize. If I set it to, um, say, smart or bar, it's not difficult to resize, but you know, this is much easier. So if it was at smart, I mean, you can see it, but it won't snap. You need this little snap. When I say snap, it means it just automatically goes to a quarter note. See this? It just snaps to the grid, to a quarter note. So always the snap makes it really easy to work. Okay. So do do. The next one is sol sol, la la, a a, and then G is a half note. Okay, so that's my first three bars. I'm just going to play it. Fine. Let's do the next one. How I wonder what you are is FFEEDDC. Okay. So I need to resize this into a quarter. And that's 4 bars. So you see, in just the matter of a couple of minutes, I've done about half the song. From bar number 3. Fine. So I'm just going to scroll more to the right so I have a little more working space. G G F F E E D. Let me be quick. It's a half. I'm going to resize it to a quarter. Now, if you make a mistake, you don't need to delete it. Just use the arrow key to bring it down here. Okay, so you don't have to. MIDI really is advantages that way. So you can just correct your mistakes without deleting stuff, without having to redraw them again. You could just use the arrow keys to either resize or pull it up and down or send the notes higher, lower. It just works that way. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now, if you notice, this one is identical to the previous one, G G F F. The only difference is there aren't two E's. This is E, G, and then D. Okay. So I'm not going to redo this again. I'm not going to draw it once more. I'm just going to copy and then modify the stuff that I need to do. Once again, you're going to make a selection across all of these. Right click, copy. I want it here at the 7th bar. So now G, G, F, F, E, G, D. So this is supposed to be G. I'm going to use the up arrow key and I'm going to send it to G. So yeah, so it's really quick. You don't have to really draw the whole thing. Now, once again, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is the same as page 1. So I'm not going to draw that either. I'm just going to copy paste it. So 4 bars, the first 4 bars. I'm just going to right click on any of the note, copy, go right here to number 9, right click, paste. My whole song is done. I'm going to turn off the MIDI editor, go to beginning. Let's hear it. Okay, and that is what we did last week. We changed the tempo because 120 was too fast. So I think I brought it down to around 100. Let's check 100. Yeah, that's better. And in the instrument, I clicked on the instrument tab, bottom left. So under grand piano, you get an option of different instruments. You can sort of preview the sound by clicking on these little play buttons next to it. Okay, so if I want to hear what a Rhodes piano sounds like, okay, I don't want the Rhodes piano. Let's try an upright piano, or maybe a church organ. Okay, accordion, no, vibraphone. So this is the sound I'm looking for because Twinkle Twinkle is like a nursery rhyme. I'm looking for this childish kind of a tone. The vibraphone really is what I'm looking for. So when you make your selection, once you've previewed it by clicking on the play icons, you could just choose by clicking on the name of the instrument. So I've chosen the vibraphone. That's how I did it. I'm going to turn off instrument. My tempo is now set to 100. And there you go. Okay, and so on and so forth. So it really sounds nice now. I'm just going to change this name from Melody to Twinkle so that I don't get confused later. Okay, another thing is the display mode. Okay, we didn't really check much about the display mode. So click on display mode. There are two ways to display all the information, the subdivision of beats and everything. One is in minutes and seconds, and one is in beats and measures. So right now it's in minutes and seconds. As the playhead goes ahead, it tells you how many minutes and how many seconds. So by the time I reach the 12th bar or finish the 12th bar and reach the 13th bar, it's 28 seconds. Okay. If I change it to beats and measures, then you see it's set it as 13 bars on the first beat. If you find that setting it to beats and bars is easy, now watch as the playhead moves, it changes it to which bar and which beat. Okay, so on the second bar, I'm on the second beat. Now I'm on the third beat, the fourth beat, and you can see the grid in the instrument track as well. So this is the instrument track that we're looking at, and each bar is also divided into these smaller four uh, beats. So these four tiny lines, the three other smaller lines, sort of subdivided into smaller beats. So if you feel that it's easy to work with bars and beats, you could do that, or you could work with minutes and seconds. Where would you use minutes and seconds? Say, for example, you've got to compose a song. For radio, I'm giving you an example, and the brief is that the song cannot be more than 3 minutes and 50 seconds long. So in that case, you sort of, as the playhead moves, you can keep an eye out and say, okay, now 43 seconds, I've got to have my first chorus in, so that you sort of can plan better by seeing how many minutes and seconds your song is going. And because around the time that you reach 3 minutes 50 seconds, you can see it in the display, and sort of either start winding up your song and ending it so it doesn't go beyond that. So this kind of display mode really helps. Right now, beats and measures may be the thing that really helps you, because every time I call out a bar and I say first beat and second beat on the fifth bar, and you may not know where it is, so maybe you could just look up at the display and then sort of get to wherever I'm calling it out. So you could leave it at beats and measures if you wanted. Okay, so I'm done with this. This was last week's class. We did Twinkle Twinkle with the melody, and then I changed it to a vibraphone. I'm going to add a new track now, because we're going to move into this week's class. So I'm going to add an instrument. Okay. Now, I don't want to listen to last week's work. So what I'm going to do is mute this track. Okay. Hit the M button. The other one below it is solo, and we'll come back to solo a little while later. I'll show you what solo does. So I'm going to use a new one. I'm going to rename this melody. And we're going to do Jingle Bells today. Fine. Okay. We're also going to set the key of this project to C major. And like I explained in class, the key sort of tells you what notes can be played and what notes cannot be played. If you know music theory, then you know in C major, if you look at your MIDI editor, you can only use the gray areas. You can't use the black areas or the black keys. You can only use the white keys on the keyboard, right? So on your MIDI editor, only the gray one. So if you study a little bit of music theory, it sort of kind of lets you know what you can and cannot play in that musical piece. What notes are allowed, what notes are not allowed, and we'll get to that kind of music theory for another class, not this week. This week we're just focusing on how do you quickly get a song done. So the focus of this class is, if you only look at the sheet music and you enter in all the MIDI notes based on the sheet music, it's going to sound very boring. For example, you just look at Twinkle Twinkle, yeah? It just started. The song just started. There was no counting. You don't know when to start singing. It's just like, okay, I'm going to play the song, and then the song just starts with Twinkle Twinkle. So your audience, your listener, they don't know when the song starts. They don't know how fast or how slow it is. They don't know what to expect. So we're going to craft a song today using loops, using beats, using the drum machine, using different elements to sort of lay the listening tone for your audience. Okay. And that also is going to start making you think more like a musician, make you think a little more, because even though you're a DJ or you're not really playing an instrument, you're still a musician. So you've got to think about the structure of a song. Today we'll just focus on the opening structure of a song, which is an introduction. But first, let's get the melody down. So I'm going to go ahead and mute Twinkle again, and let's look at Jingle Bells. Okay, so Jingle Bell has got, okay, first let's create the region. Let's count how many bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Page 1 has 4 bars. Page 2 has 4, that's 8. Page 3 has got another 4, 12. Page 4 has 4, that's 16. So it's a total of 16 bars. So I'm going to go ahead and create a region of 16 bars. Pull it all the way here. Yeah. Now here's where it's going to help. How do I know I got 16? I'm going to take my playhead here. It says 17 bar 1 beat, which means 16, 2, 3, 4. If you look at the display, it shows 16 bars and 4 beats have already been drawn, and you should have reached 17 bar first beat. Okay, so that's my 16 bars done. Fine. Now let's open the MIDI editor. And once again, I'm going to just speed work through this whole thing. So you guys, if you have your PDF file, go ahead and start at this point to, create the whole thing. So that's 3 notes of E. Okay, and then after that was just a copy. Yeah. So both the bars were identical. That's why I just copy pasted the first and the second one. The next one is E, G, C, D, and then followed by E, which is for one whole bar. That's 4 notes, a whole note. 4 beats, a whole note. Okay. I'm going to resize this to a quarter. Now I created a wrong note, so I don't need to delete it. Just use the down button, bring it down to G. I did a G sharp note. And this goes all the way to 4.4. That means the entire bar is covered. So page 1 is done. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so 4 quarter notes of F, and then I'll come back to this again. So F. Okay, I made a mistake. I drew an E, pushed it up to an F. Let's look at the next one. Now this is F and then 3 notes of E. So once again, I'm not just going to draw the whole thing. I'll just copy, right click, copy, come back here. I'm just going to scroll a little bit to the right so I have more working space. Okay, I'm going to paste it over here. Now 3 notes were on E, so I'm just going to highlight these 3 and bring it down. That's it. So when I play it, okay, so once again, you don't have to draw everything. If you are smart, you know how to repurpose the same notes. E, D, D, E. Now once again, I could do the same thing. Instead of drawing all 4, I'm just going to copy this and just paste it over here. Now it was E, so I just bring this down to E. These 2 are D, so D. Yeah, so you don't really need to draw everything. You could just sort of take the same quarter notes and move them around. There you go. Fine. Now I have D as a half note and G as a half note. Fine. So D, I'm just going to resize this to D and G. Okay. So I'm done with page 2 as well. Page 3, if you notice, it is the same as page 1. E, 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 G, C, D, E. Here you go. So speed working once more, going to go back to the start. It's the first 4 bars. I'm just going to right click and copy. Come back here to bar number 9 and just paste. So my entire page is already done. Let's go ahead. I should be at bar number 13 now, which is the last page. Once again, this is identical to the previous one, sort of identical. These 2 lines are the same as page number 2. So this is bar number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is bar 5 and 6. So bar 5 and 6 are the same here as bar 13 and 14. So I'm going to go to bar number 5. I guess that's where you could keep count of what bar you are on. It really makes it easy. So let's go to bar number 5. This is 5 here. So I'm going to copy 5 and 6. 5, 6 all the way to 6.4. Right click, copy. And this is where practice is really handy, because the more you work every day, the lesser you need to draw and do. Okay, the last one is G, G, F, D. Now these are 4 quarter notes. I don't want to draw quarter notes anymore. I'll just take these, copy them and paste them, and then just modify them. So this is Okay. G, G, F, D. Okay, that was quick. There's a C that is at the bottom, and there's the same C that is one octave higher. Okay, so let's look at this one now. If you start drawing at C4, then your last note should be at C4. I'm just going to drag a little bit more so we can see better. And then it should go up to C5. Okay. If you started at C3, then it should be C3 and C4. It's the same note, one octave higher, C and C. And if you similarly did at C4, then it goes up to C5, C4, C5. Because you see this? Too many puns over here. One octave and the same note, one octave higher. If you started off your song at C3, then your last two notes are C3, and then you end at C4. And if you started at C4, then C4, C5. And if you started at C5, C5, C6. Okay. So on and so forth, one octave higher. I guess the whole song is done. I'm just going to close the MIDI editor. Now, because I've muted the twinkle melody, it will not sound. Okay. Okay, I realize the tempo is a little slower, so I'm just going to change this to 120. You know, let it continue playing. Okay, sounds good. Okay, and then that's that high note. That's where it ended. Fine. Let's change the sound though, because obviously this is not what I want to hear. What can I use? I don't want to use the vibraphone again. Maybe something new this time. Let's see. So I'm just going to preview some sounds and sort of listen to what each sound like, and then make my choice. Honky tonk? No, I don't want honky tonk. Okay, that was just a mistake. I'm just going to try something else. What about a Wurlitzer? Maybe the harpsichord was the best. Let's preview the whole song now. Not really happy. Okay, I'm going to go from piano to something else now. Maybe like a synth lead. Let's try a synth lead. So under synth lead, you got a lot of sounds here. What about a dance lead? Let's see what it sounds like. Oh, okay. It sounds really bad. So maybe synth leads are not the thing to use. I think I'll go back to piano because it has a really strong sound. But guys, you don't need to choose the same thing that I'm doing. Okay, you can go ahead and choose the sounds that you want. Each of us have different musical tastes. There's no right or wrong. As long as it sounds good in the song, you can go ahead and just choose it. I think I'll just go with Wurlitzer because right now I just feel it sounds good. Okay, I don't like it. Really sounds. Vibraphone. I guess you're coming back to vibraphone. Okay. So I've chosen vibraphone, but now you've already noticed that it sounds really boring because, like I said, there's no structure to the song. It's just a melody. It doesn't really sound interesting. It may be interesting in the beginning because you created something out of nothing. So you've gone to this sheet music, and then from the sheet music you've created music. In a digital environment, but it's not really a song. It's just sounds that sound like a song, like a jingle bell. But how do you make it interesting? So this is where we start working on loops. Now you notice this bottom area which says drop a loop and an audio MIDI file. So when you create loops, you got to drop them here. Look at the bottom here, you have loops. There are some options that are missing here. So I don't have assignment brief here because this is a personal project, but you guys will have it. Move right to the loop section, turn on loops here, and you'll have a lot of loops here. Just like the instruments where you had to preview sounds by clicking on the play button. If you look at the title Retro Classics, it gives you a small description here, and next to it is the play button. So if you click on the play button, these are the kind of sounds you can expect in this loop pack. Okay. Then there's experimental tape music, Ferris impressions made digital. That's the description that they've given you. So yesterday I had used experimental tape for the beats, I think. Now, once you open up the loop pack, you can open up the instrument drop down section. It gives you all the instruments that are available in that pack. So the ones that are grayed out, for example, ARP, chords, guitar, you see these are not available to you. The ones that have these little white color boxes that are in the white boxes, these are the ones that are available to you. So you can click on any of these. Now, the reason for that is there are so many loops here, you can't possibly start listening to each of them. So I'm only looking for beats. I'm going to click on beats. Beats gets chosen over here. Now these are the beats that are available. So it makes it easy for me to browse through everything. Okay, so now when you want to preview something, you just click on it. So it plays the loop for you. And when you want to stop it, you can click on the loop again. Or at the bottom, there is the play and stop button. So when you choose a beat, look at the bottom left, the stop button is here. It also gives you more information about it. It's called Cassette School Beat 02, as it was said. 120 is the beats, that it's the speed. It sort of matches our project. Now, if I took a beat that was faster or slower than 120, for example, Dusty Night beat. Okay. The beauty is if I put it into my project, BandLab will automatically bring the tempo up to 120. So you don't have to worry about choosing only beats that are 120. BandLab will do that automatically for you. Okay. Okay, so not really. Fine. So the information tells me it's 120. I like Cassette School Beat 02. So I'm going to drag it. Okay. The way to drag it is click and hold and then just pull it here. Not in any of these MIDI tracks that I've created, but in this audio in a new section where it says drop a loop or an audio MIDI file. So I'm just going to drop it here. It may ask you for microphone access. I don't generally allow it. Okay. Now make sure that your loop, your drum beat starts right at number 1. Okay. Let's see what it sounds like with the melody. Okay, it already sounds better. Okay, it doesn't sound bad. I feel the beat sort of goes. It's like a retro beat. Now, once again, this is my choice. It doesn't mean that you should like what I like. You may have some other choices. And as musicians, you have to keep listening to a wide variety of music to understand what really works with the song and what doesn't. According to me, it works. Maybe you may not like it, so you can choose a different beat altogether. Now, how do you choose a different beat? You could hit reset and then go back to the loop packs and then go to whichever beat you like. So there are a lot of loop packs here. Again, if you're looking for a certain kind of a sound, for example, if you're looking for K-pop, I'm going to type K-pop. Do they have any K-pop here? I had seen some K-pop the other day. Okay, they have K-pop over here. Okay, they have J-pop, K-pop, fine. K-pop essentials. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, I like this. What about K-pop expanded? Okay, let's go with essentials. I always go with the first one I see. Once again, there are a lot of beats here. A lot of loops. When you drop the instrument section, you see so many things. Let's just go to beats. I just want beats. I don't want anything else from here. So these are the beats that are available. Okay, not bad. Too much. I like this one. Shimmy Bang 3. Okay, I think Shimmy Bang 3 was good. Now, if you notice, it says 124 BPM, but my project is at 120. I'm just going to delete this track. I don't want this now. Okay, so that track is gone. Let's put it Shimmy Bang 3. I'm going to bring it, drop it over here. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so let's drag this beat a little longer. I can't make out whether with just two beats, two bars, if it sort of matches or not. So this is where you resize the top icon. You go to the top icon. This is where the loop function will start. So you don't need to keep dropping, dragging the same beat over and over again to fill up your loop instrument track. You could just loop it by going to the top here and sort of just dragging this out here. Okay. And you notice this little line over here that is here. That means this is the end of the loop and the loop starts once more because it's a 2-bar loop. So bar 1 and 2 had the first section. Then when you looped it a second time, 3 and 4 are also here, and then 5 and 6. So let's hear the whole thing. Okay, now it sort of matches fine. And in case you need to shorten the loop, what you could do is go to the section that you don't want. You see the resize option comes again, just click and it goes away. Yeah. So you don't have to like drag the whole thing back. You could just go to whichever section. I don't want all of these loops. I can just click on that section and just pull it back. This makes it much more easier. Okay, so I think I'll use the K-pop one. Yesterday I used a different one. Today I'll use K-pop. Okay, so it sounds good, but once again, the song just sprung out of nowhere. It just started. I need to set the tone for the audience. They need to listen to the beat first. They need to listen to some amount of music before Jingle Bells begins. And that part is known as an introduction. All your favorite songs, they have an introduction. A little bit of music, a little bit of sound that sort of, draws in the listener. If I start a song immediately with Jingle Bells, people won't really understand the context. They won't understand what kind of beats or the complexity of the song. So you want to always set an introduction to a song, an intro, right? So I'm just going to take this melody part out and drag it to the right because maybe we'll do that later. What I'm looking for is let's check for a lead, some sort of a pattern that I could play before Jingle Bells begin. Okay, so I'm going to look for something that goes still as an introduction. Not really happy with whatever's there, so I'm just going to use yesterday's stuff, which was the vocal redux. It was somewhere down here. Vocal chop redux. I think Alala really worked. Alala 6, the first one, sort of worked the best. I'm just going to move it here. What I've done is I looped it for 2. Okay, so I guess the other sort of samples didn't really match. I think Alala Sik really comes close to going from this vocal sample to directly matching the Jingle Bell melody. So I'm going to use this for now. So this is my introduction. How does my song start? Now you notice that it sounds really different. I'm going to turn off the loops window. So there is the audience now knows what kind of beat I'm laying down. They sort of understand that this is funky. This is not just plain Jingle Bell. So it sort of sounds like a remix, and then it sort of lays directly into Jingle Bells. Okay, so it's not perfect because now the Jingle Bell track sounds really empty. I need to get something underneath this Jingle Bell track, but that we will do for next week. How do you layer a track and add something more to it? Okay, but for this week, I'm just going to stop it at this. We've set an intro, which is an essential part of a song. Start listening to your songs and trying and figuring out how do your favorite songs start. Do they just start with the song, or is there some sort of music that starts before the singing begins, before the vocalist or the singer starts their part? And you'll always notice the some sort of music is set in the beginning, whether it's Justin Bieber, whether it is One Direction, whether it is Dua Lipa. There's always something that is played before the singing begins. Not always, I guess, but more or less you want to set the tone for the song to start, and this is how the whole thing will begin. So we've got an intro down, and then Jingle Bells begin. But we haven't finished this track, so make sure you just save it for now. I'm going to hit save. And if it asks you for a name, you can just put a name over there. Right now it's saving. You can see the bar go up. I'm just going to change the name from New Personal Project to Song Crafting. Okay. For Song Crafting, I'll save. Let it save with the new name. So next week when we come back to it, I'm just going to open up Song Crafting once more as a project, and we will start with it. It says project saved. Great. I'm just going to go back to library and exit. And that's all we got for this week. I'll see you guys next week.